and welcome to a new episode of Let's Talk About the Football from last weekend. It's been a bumper weekend of football. It's been the FA Cup. It's been the Magic. Is there a more magical cup than the FA Cup? Rhetorical question. Sponsored by Lionade. Yes, that's right. We're still sponsored by Lionade. Thank you, Lionade, for all the free cans that you've sent us. And we've had some really good, really positive messages from the guys at Lionade. Just to read out the advert, the promo. Football's a jungle, survival's for the strongest. That's why you need Lionade. Packed with predator-level power, jungle-fresh vitamins, and the stamina of a 90-minute midfield engine. It's the ultimate game changer. Warning, may cause excessive goal celebrations. Drink responsibly. That's lovely joke there. Okay, so football. Can you believe it? Some fantastic games this weekend. I'm joined, of course, by football man Martin Hudson. Martin, how are you?
Yeah, very warm welcome to me, I guess. Yeah, that didn't come out right. No, I'm good. I'm welcomed.
And yeah, great. Okay, so I believe you have a new segment for the show.
Yes, I do actually. It's called Fans View. We've sort of advertised it on social media. It's just an outlet to get the views of real fans.
Excellent. So let's hear one of them.
Hi, Jamie and Martin. I'm John Vivon. It's a terrible time to be a City fan. You're losing 2-0 to Liverpool, 5-1 to Arsenal. It's a proper howlers there. Anyway, I was in the pub yesterday. I'm always in the pub. And I said to my brother-in-law, we've got an idea. City should do a contest. Any fan that comes up with a strategy that could have beat Liverpool and Arsenal, especially Arsenal, can come and be player manager for the rest of the season and get proper pay for it as well. Except they wouldn't need to run the contest because I've already figured it out. I smashed it. So for Liverpool, I would have taken the Foden off, would have taken him out of the starting 11 and just ran with it from kick-off. And I guaranteed he wouldn't get me because I spent hours dribbling through the cones on a car park of fives, and I can get past anyone in the Sunday League. So when I've worn them out a bit, I'd tap it in, tippy-tap, after I sent Raya the wrong way, the wrong wayer. Then I get them to play defensive, well defensive for the rest of the first half, 5-4-1. I'd keep it up until about the 80th, I think, and then I'd run with Haaland and then hopefully get a second for us. So for Arsenal, well, we put Walker on the bench. We stick with the 5-4-1 for the first half. They're pretty solid. Then I keep breaking through, dribbling, and I've got a wicked left foot, so I'm sure I'll find the back of the net a couple of times at least. And all the while, they're like a brick wall back there, and I fucking shout at them if they were doing shit, just like at Sunday League. And then switch to 3-4-3 in the second half. Foden, I get him to run up. I set him up a few times. If he's doing shit, I tap him myself. So we're on at least 3-4-0 there, no embarrassments. Gets the job done. We get the 3 points that we should have. Anyway, my brother-in-law said it was an amazing idea, the best he'd ever heard. So he said I should call in, and here we are.
Right, that went on for way too long.
Obviously, that doesn't play well because that person doesn't have the media training we have. But that's the beauty of it. It's real people, and it sounds raw over a professional podcast.
There's a germ of an idea here for doing something where we could train people on how to deliver podcasts, how to be more media friendly. And we could use that as an example of how not to deliver a speech, maybe. But Martin, if you're going to, I know you've got the turnstile count. Well, I know you've got the turnstile count. I don't need to carry on really with that. If you're going to do another segment, you've got to make sure that it has something about it that people are going to listen to, because I don't know.
I think we'll let the listeners decide.
Well, they are deciding because there's a hell of a lot more people listening to this than there is yours.
Maybe I could do the turnstile count inside this podcast. You just sort of cut to me. 3 minutes. I can do it in 3 minutes. At first.
I don't want people switching off because, like I say, we've been having views and we're getting good money. Like, they're paying my wages, not yours, because you're doing this for experience, and I'm pleased you are. I don't want to piss off the sponsors.
Just a point on the turnstile count, actually.
Yeah.
Because you've said that nobody listens to the show, and okay, I know you didn't mean it literally, but
no one listens.
I've got access to the ratings, and in fact, I got 4 listeners for the previous episode.
Right. But you were aware that I have to listen to the show. Well, I don't listen, a skim, but that's part of my job, so that'll account for 1.
Right.
And of course, Ryan, who's producing your show, he has to click on it to get a reference point. And then there's you, isn't there?
Yeah, obviously. I listen on my wife's laptop.
So that's 3.
Any more?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay, so
that's 1 listener.
Fine. Actually, because, we can... What's that proverb? One man can't change the world, but one man can communicate a message that can change the world. So that's it. Yeah, right. This is a plea to that one listener, right? If you can get the word out, just tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone, right? Because this is you and me now, brother or sister. When this show becomes popular, and it will, we'll remember this moment. The moment that one plucky listener and one plucky host...
Hang on. You said you listened on your wife's laptop.
Yeah, so?
It's just, you listened to it on your phone on Wednesday before the meeting, in front of me.
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
What do you mean that doesn't count? That's a listening figure.
No, because it's still me. I'm just one man.
Presumably, you're on a different account to your wife.
Yeah.
Right, so there you go. You've got no listeners. I'm sorry. Right, okay, so the FA Cup, the glory, the magic of the FA Cup. What a weekend.
Fucking hell.
And it started with Aston Villa against Cardiff. Those tricky villains. Those tricky villains against Cardiff. A pack of cards, a playing card with no cards in it, a playing pack with no cards in it, because Aston Villa won 2-0.
Yeah, and it was Rashford and Asensio again. They're really turning into a classic double act, like Abbott and Costello. Except they won't be asking Weil scored when and who fingered what. They'll be saying Rashford with the assist, Asensio with the goal. Thank you very much. Cardiff leaving Birmingham with the dragon tails between the legs, the dragon legs.
They've got the sensors a different cherry flavour of Lionade, and I don't know which is my favourite. It's the lemonade or the cherryade. One of them, really tasty. Preston 3, Burnley 0. Pretty sure that this was the first game ever. Sorry, therapist. Anything to say on this game, Martin?
No.
Crystal Palace, the podcast's favourite team. That's something we can both agree on. The Palaces, Crystal Palace, in that Crystal Palace shattered Millwall. Oh my goodness, what about that kick in the head, eh?
Yeah, I mean, look, this game will be remembered for one thing and one thing only, and that was the scoreline, because it's just about exactly what you would have expected. You know, if you asked somebody to predict the score of this match, they would have said 2-0. But after that, maybe 2-1, and certainly 3-1 would have been in amongst those scorelines as well. And I think Millwall troubled them. And I'm not going to say in the stands, as a given, but they did have them on the ropes for a part in that second half.
And of course, Eze and Esse. Who's next? Epe, Fa, Na, Ebe.
Yeah,
Bournemouth 2, Wolves 1, Cunha. Oh, sending off. Naughty, naughty. Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. No, sorry, not 2. It says here 2, but that's just because they won. So it was 1-1. It shouldn't really say 2-1 because it wasn't 2-1. Martin?
Well, I'm sure Mitch will tell us that in ice hockey, whoever wins the penalty shootout, it does go to their score, so it would be 2-1 in that case. But yeah, Cunha, I mean, he's like my late father. He has a temper, and he likes to headbutt people. But, you know, my dad never struck a ball from 30 yards into the top corner with that kind of power and precision. And this is where we're at with Cunha. You know, he's like any genius. He's as mad as an Ebola salad. And he's cost Wolves that game yesterday. And once again, it's our friend Iraola who's left grinning like the proverbial cat. Sorry, Cheshire cat. Or the cat that got the cream. The interchangeable.
My late father, he was a ice cream van man. Never went into it. He actually hated ice cream as well, which was quite funny. But he spent his every waking day there. Even when he retired, he was still going out in the ice cream van. Wasn't selling ice creams, but he was still driving it up and down the M6. Manchester City 3, Plymouth Plymouth. Ply my mouth. Mouth my ply doesn't work. Manchester City, they went through. They're into the quarterfinals. Hooray!
Well, the question for some time has been, will the real Man City stand up? And this wasn't the real Manchester City, because they made a lot of changes to the lineup. But certainly, you know, if you ask the average fan before the game what they thought... No, I've used that. I used that before, didn't I? Okay. O'Reilly, must talk about him because he looks a hot prospect. I mean, I didn't know who he was before yesterday, I have to admit, but I certainly do now, that's for sure. And he took his goals well. He looks like a terrific striker.
Martin, it's fine to reuse material, but don't say I've already used it.
Right, it sounded awkward, and it's sort of down on my notes, and I got them confused. Just making a note here. Make better notes. There you go.
That's not funny. Oh ho ho ho! Last game of the weekend. Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. No, what? It was this stupid app. Manchester United manure, as I'd like to call them. Fulham, they went home full of 3 points. No, not free. It's the FA Cup, isn't it? They went home and they're happy. They're full and they're happy, and they are going to treat themselves to a cake that has quarterfinals. Fulham, of course, they've not won a trophy.
Yeah, look, there's only one place to start, and that's at Old Trafford. And Fulham, just to extend on your cake analogy there, or is it metaphor? Fulham blowing the candles out on Manchester United's cake. They were their candles. Fulham came along like the sort of naughty boy from two doors down. Fulham were the better team and deserved to win regardless of the shootout. And you have to feel sorry for Xerxes. You know, he's been the victim of the Old Trafford boos, and they really hung him out to dry. I mean, what were they thinking, making him take a penalty at that stage? You know, it's like they wanted him to fall on his sword. And actually, he would be a good shout to own a sword. Thinking about last week's discussion.
Yeah, Neville.
Joshua Xerxes, swordsman, Jamie?
No, I'll take that. I'll gladly take that one, Martin. I think maybe that's an idea for another pod, or, you know, as we touched on, best swordsman in the Premier League. And also, I've come up with another idea for a segment that I'm going to do at some point for best dressed manager. I thought that would be something that would get people talking. I think it's quite an interesting one. So hopefully bring that up in next week's pod. Martin, therapist, would you like to promote your attendance pod? Maybe you could get more than 0 listeners for this one.
Yeah. Look, if I make the show, then it's going to be a cracker. It's not a guarantee I'm going to be making it. I've got my GCSE mocks on Tuesday morning, and I've just watched so much bloody football over the weekend that it's really eaten into my revision. So I know I'm contractually obliged, but I'm going to have a word. If I could sort of go over your head, I will try to pass that.
That podcast. There's nothing in it, and that can take you literally 2 minutes. So I'm not buying that you don't have time to do it. But, you know, like I said before, it's probably for the best if you don't, because no one's listening.
It's a lot of research goes into it.
Okay, well, that was the FA Cup weekend. That was a fantastic weekend. It'll be remembered for God knows how long. That was the weekend of, hang on, that was the football from last weekend. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. Martin, we need to be a bit more aligned in what we're doing.
I know.
You need to start listening to the words first of all. You just need to, I could see it trying to